So it's time to add some additional details. First, I would like to define the beach. So for this, I am going to draw just a quick shape down here, which is going to be the sand. So just very quick and simple. Set it to yellow. And this can already be placed under the surfer, so behind her. And probably it's the right time to also set up our global mask. Now, this is a technique that I use often when I want to keep things inside the artboard, but I still would like to have separate layers created. So what I normally do, and I use this in a couple of other projects already in this course, is to create a new layer and call it mask. Then create a shape. And in this case, I would like to have the shape exactly the same size as my artboard. So I draw it out that way, aligned to the artboard. While this is the only shape on this new layer, I can go to the Layers panel menu and choose Make Clipping Mask. That will turn this whole layer into a mask. And then drag the illustration layer into this layer. And then also the background layer can be dragged there. Just make sure you first close the other layer. That way they won't end up being in the same layer. So now we have the same structure as before, but the good news is that whatever we are creating from now on, inside either of these, or maybe even above or below, it's going to be automatically masked out by this square that we created here on top. So that's our mask. And this is what I call a global mask effect. So the good thing is that if I have this path selected here, if I now draw another shape, let's just draw the foam, which I want to have above the sand, create it here, following closely the outline of the sand. You can see it's automatically masked out, so I'm not seeing anything outside of the artboard. I'm just going to set this to white and send it behind the sand like that. And then let's just fix this corner here, round it down a bit. I wanted these to be more round like that. Okay, I'm going to use the pencil tool just quickly to draw a couple of additional shapes here. These I want to be a little bit more organic. So there's one set to white. Let's draw another one here. Also set to white, maybe one other little foam detail here, set to white, one more here. You can consider these the highlights on the waves as well, but it's more like the foam when the waves hit the beach. There's one there. Let's just add another one here on the left side. Okay, that looks good. Now I want to have a larger wave detail running across the whole canvas. For this, I'm going to use a curve with the pen tool, drag it up this way. I'll set this already to be white and then come back down, curving this way. Maybe we can have a detail added like that, and then run down, across, and curve like this. Okay, that looks good. Maybe let's just make this more curved. And then behind this, we can have a darker shape that's defining the volume of the wave that can be aligned to this path here. And this can be a darker blue like that. And just send it behind the foam or the white brighter color. And the surfer I'm going to actually keep above everything. Maybe we can even drag it out just to have it on its own detail. And to be honest, all of these additional details could go in the background in the end. For now, I'm just going to keep it separate. Maybe this path here, I can use the pen tool, hold down Alt or Option key and drag it up a little bit just to have a little bit of curve on it, and drag it down like that, like an S curve. And maybe we can also have a bit of this depth create it here on the left side. With the pen tool, again, I'm just drawing another shape. And make sure that this goes behind the other one as well. So let's just set it back there. Okay, that's looking good. And then maybe one additional shape I'm just going to draw here that runs across the canvas. Just drawing this with the pen tool, just very quickly. Very thin detail I want this to be. Just a very subtle indication of another break in the water. Trying to create an interesting detail here and then set it to white. Okay, yeah, that's just another indication of the waves. And then we will add some more texturing later, but for now I feel like the water looks good. If I lock the surfer layer, background layer is already locked, I can just select all of these shapes here and we can call it waves and sand. So I created this group, call it waves and sand. And like I said before, I can drop this into the background layer because it would make sense to have it there. So the whole background is now together. And I will actually draw the clouds now, again in the background layer. So I will lock everything else. So here, while we are in the background layer, I'm going to draw the clouds quickly. And for this shape, I'm going to use the pen tool. I will just click here, click and drag, define that first curve, then click on this point again. And you can see this is actually behind the surfboard, but I still like to define it based on my sketch, just in case I want to move the surfer around. I will have those details already drawn in the background. It doesn't take long to draw these curves. It's a very quick little detail, but it will define the depth in the illustration. So there we have it. This will have to go under the water detail. And then let's draw the next segment here. Again, click and drag, click, click and drag, click, click and drag. I can have a little bit more detail here. Click and drag. Maybe this can come out a bit further. Just use the space bar there. And a bigger curve. And one more here. Okay, and then we can just go down, close it. The global mask is already affecting this. Now I just place it behind the water. And then I actually wanted to have maybe one more cloud created up here. This one I'm just going to have like a line at the bottom that defines the edge of it. Maybe I can draw this shape with a point on the top. Then another one, point at the bottom, like that. And then maybe drag this point out a bit. Keep it nice and straight. And then we can draw one more here quickly. Pen tool, click, and then shift click to make sure it's horizontal. And then draw these shapes, one curve, another curve. Here I'm going to click and drag on the top, come down, click, and then maybe just one more curve here, maybe one last one, and then close it off. I'll just drag this point with the direct selection tool a little bit out while holding down the shift key. Maybe this one as well. Shift, drag that way. Okay, so we have these good horizontal lines established. Let's see it without the sketch. Yeah, that's looking quite nice.